I no longer worry about what they say. They're just real people. Nobody is AI. We're thinking about it, though, in some situations. We'll be back next week. Please subscribe. We'll be back and see you on another Third Side Convo. Thank you. Yeah, oh, you done? Coming back? Coming back? Well, Jeff was right. That was definitely too big. We were going to go and get into socialism and all that other stuff. How can you do anything like this in 30 minutes? I tell you. But there were some good ideas brought out by everybody.
There was, a thing that I really sticks in my mind with the New York thing more than any philosophical situation. I think it's going to be really telling in the New York general what the Democrats do. And if you see the DNC and establishment Democrats come out full-throated for an independent Cuomo run, as opposed to the person who resoundingly won the actual Democratic primary, it's going to tell you everything you need to know. They already laid the groundwork for this in 2016 when they fucked over Bernie Sanders so badly. And it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about Bernie. That doesn't matter. The DNC...
Oh, they screwed him up. What about Eric Adams, though? Is Adams not in the play?
Have won the nomination.
Hey, Jeff,
Adams the independent right now.
I know, but you don't think Adams has a chance?
Is Cuomo in the race?
Yeah, he's making noise about running as an independent.
Well, but he's not in the race yet. He's just talking about. He's just humming and hawing about it.
That's him putting up a trial balloon to see what deep-pocketed donors and power brokers will support it.
Yeah, well, Adams is another one, though. He's another guy who was the mayor, and they voted him out and threw him out, and he's back running, but who's the Republican nominee is somebody who was, I've forgotten now who the Republican nominee is.
Oh, that's the guy from the Berets, the Red Berets, Curtis.
Curtis Sliwa.
Curtis Sliwa, really?
It is. Curtis Sliwa was the Republican nominee.
Okay, we want to
angel guy.
Let's get our Zoom in. Brandon and Don. Brandon, you sat in. You were alternate for the panel, and what's your views on what you heard?
Well, I actually wrote a bunch of little points that I was listening to as we were going, and I put them all in the Zoom chat. I don't know if if everyone can read that or not, but it's there.
Well, what were the good ones?
Well, one of the things that was said early on about having someone that is more centrist, and I was kind of thinking, are we living in an age where there is no political center anymore? You're either far to the right or you're far to the left. And then Jeff Nolan brought up an interesting point where anyone in the right who is even considering right of center is not right enough. And so that got me. And so
the only people in the center in America are the voters.
True, but then it got me thinking: could there be a truly centrist candidate at any level? Obviously, see, Tiberius is shaking his head. No, it can't happen.
Not in this world. Absolutely not.
No, because no one's going to vote for someone who's perfectly in the center. I mean, not even someone.
They absolutely will. It's just won't get that far.
It goes against the two-party system.
Parties won't let them get to the parties won't let them get to the poll.
Our Democratic mayor in Orlando is arguably centrist, and he's been reelected like 2 or 3 times.
Can we find out what Don thinks while he's half asleep?
And then let's see.
What
else was playing out here?
What are your thoughts, Don?
And then coming back to what Jeff Nolan said about.
Finish.
Hold on, Brandon. We're going to get Don in. He's waking up for a second. I think he's
let him finish.
He's recovering.
Well, you guys, I'm on medication too, so. And I don't know if you guys don't know, I had surgery again on my foot, so my ankle. So I'm laid up for the next 5 days.
This is a trooper, I tell you, Don. Okay. Well, if you just want to nod your head if we say something, but if you got something to say, please say it.
Yeah, I understand the whole thing about when I was talking with Brandon a little bit about what someone said about the Republican side, or someone, as soon as someone says they help out somebody in this country, it's a bad thing on certain groups of people. If you want to help out people, give them a free ride, free lunches, or everybody. I know there's going to be some bad people. Say, for example, the Meals on Wheels. It's not, but it helps out a lot of people more than the bad people by 10 times its fold. Or giving people free rides on buses. These things that are essential for ours to grow as a society. I know there's fraud about 10% of anything you do. There's going to be some bad people, but don't penalize everybody because of 10% of the bad people. And that's my problem with all this stuff that's happening with the new administration. They're punishing people for 10% of the people doing their bad things, and they're punishing many millions of people who don't have to be punished. That's my biggest problem.
I disagree. Yeah. I mean, I've always said the same thing about 9/11. A small group of people effectively ruined an entire industry for everybody. That's why we can't wear. That's why we have to take off our shoes at security now. That's why we can't bring. That's why we can't bring our own water through when we check in.
Right.
Because a small group of people ruined it for everybody.
I kind of agree with Brandon on that part. It's kind of like in school where, oh, well, if one kid's going to do this, we're going to ruin it for everybody.
Exactly. One kid one or two kids decides they want to take
we're going to goof off
and now
and
we have
we're not going to take
in the
this
schools.
test. Yeah, they do that and they're like, everybody gets points off.
Right. And they're doing it right now. We guys, we all talking about right now, but a year from now, we're going to look at the effects of all this stuff that's happening down to our food and the farmers and everything else. And we're going to go back and say, oh my God, what did we do? And it's already started already because you're penalizing a whole bunch of people because somebody told an untruth or unlies on a certain amount of people, and people started believing it, and now it's going to come back and haunt us.
You mean when J.D. Vance accused all those Haitians of eating their dogs?
Yeah, and then all the criminals, all these immigrants are all criminals, committing more crimes than anybody else. We got more Americans committing more crimes than anybody else than the immigrants do. Now, I ain't saying all immigrants are great, but they're not coming over here killing people in droves like they're saying, because we would be dead, So it's just a problem.
See, I work with a lot of Haitians, and I've actually eaten a good chunk of Haitian cooking that they've made.
Joe, your mic is muted, by the way.
And I've never once heard anything about dog or cat of any kind. I don't understand it. It made no sense to me.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
Listen, I have to take off, guys. I am sorry. I have to take off. But before I go, I do want to say one quick thing. I want, if you have a chance, there's a video going around TikTok that I saw that I thought was really funny, and I think really kind of adheres to this conversation. Search up "Socialism Explained by Ducks." It's really funny, but it makes you think.
Perfect. Well,
right.
see, we were going to have Brandon on the show because given the New York City race, apparently the reason this guy won was because of his TikTok marketing. That's what he did. It was all TikTok stuff, and some of it is pretty damn silly. That's where we're getting to, isn't it? I'm the boomer.
Oh yeah.
What do I know?
I saw the video of him talking about his policies with his hands in his pockets, and he couldn't take them out.
It's so funny, you guys. I'm just watching the news. Eric Adams just launched his re-election bid. So that answers the question about New York.
What happened
in the run-up to this conference?
What happened?
I just found that video on YouTube, so it's also there.
Excellent. Yeah. In the run-up to this conversation, I had mentioned to Bob that I am absolutely convinced that there is a very, very significant percentage of the Democratic elite and power structure that would much, much, much rather see a Republican elected in New York than Mamdani. I'm absolutely positive of that, because they want to protect their money. And a lot of their so-called progressivism is completely performative in an attempt to try to get people like me to give a shit about them. Fortunately, I've been around a minute and I can see right through it, but there's a lot of people who can't because, I'm old. It's despicable. I hate that performative progressivism almost as much as I hate heartless MAGA is. And that's saying something.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
before someone calls me heartless, even though I am not necessarily a MAGA, I will say something
That's the crucial bit, Joe.
We are seeing a world where everyone thinks that we're good as long as we give people free stuff. And in the reality, giving people free stuff is not the answer. We actually have charities and systems to give people free stuff. Being told we can only be great if, for some reason, everyone has an equal ending. Everyone has the equal stuff. Everyone has the equal amount of food and the equal amount of this and the equal amount of that. So you want to put us in a box, give us a food sucker, give us a water sucker, and give us a place to take a dump at, and then we're all happy, is completely fallacious. We are in a great country because we all have the right and freedom of choice. We have the freedom to do what we want with our choices. We can earn or not earn. We can go write and become an author. We can go become a speaker, and no one's going to stop us and shoot us for doing so. We can become a guitarist and make that my living and be completely right to do so. I can be a computer guy, and I don't have to worry about paying and getting permission to do what I choose to do with my time. We can have these conversations right here and not worry about the government knocking on our door and dragging us out because we dare to disagree with someone. And Tiberius is politely raising his hand, so we'll have to let him go next.
That's not true anymore.
We'll let Tiberius talk next because he was raising his hand politely.
So I actually just watched the video that Brandon, before he left, just was saying about. I muted myself so I could watch it. It's real. I mean, it really does explain socialism. And I know a lot about socialism because me and my dad have this game from the Polish government. And it was written in Polish, so we got stickers on it in English. So we learned how to play it, and man, is it hard. I mean, seriously, it's a tough game. No, and like once you play it, you realize, yeah, no, you do not want to go back into socialism because it's horrid.
Yeah,
now, my dad brought this game to a board game party, and when he played it with three other people, one guy rage quit because the game was so hard because he couldn't get his last item because my dad kept on moving it around from store to store because that's part of the game. So, no, you do not want to go back to socialism.
Does Dad get 1 point for that one? I get a point.
Tiberius, what do you mean by back to socialism?
What do you mean?
Was America
We've never been in socialism.
So it was made by the Polish government because Poland was in socialism, so it was telling them not to go back to socialism, which was the entire point of the game.
Nobody's ever really been in this stuff. They've all defaulted to totalitarianism. They've never actually been a communist country. They've always wound up just being a dictatorships. Not that I'm not pushing communism on anybody, but they never actually became communist countries. They just became dictatorships.
Okay.
Guys,
and someone asked.
Basically, what the video's saying is like, oh, well, every single duck that we give free pond, free school, free rest, free all this, but they when they grow their own stuff, yes, they keep some of it, but you're not the only duck in the pond, so you have to share a lot of your stuff. And this one big duck, make sure everyone gets fair amount of stuff, and that's just what socialism is. That's what this video explains.
Well, I want you to think of it this way: is when we are trying to make decisions and trying to look at a good conversation. Definitions matter, okay? We don't have a good definition of socialism. And I noticed during the show, someone said the democratic socialism is not socialism. And most people would disagree. I'm going to go ahead and say I agree with them because democratic socialism is not socialism. It is the marketing arm for socialism. It is the mask that we put on to make socialism look cool. It's socialism in practice, but democratic socialism is the marketing fluff to hide it until they finally get it put in place.
Joe, that's interesting.
So let me ask you a question. If someone, because your philosophy, if someone got hurt, or someone got to an accident and couldn't lose their limbs, lose their arms, and couldn't work or couldn't make a living like you're doing, or mentally ill, and there's are you saying we're not obligated as a country to help that person out?
No, those are the people that Medicaid is for.
This was the Medicaid.
I got it.
And all the stuff is for people just like that. and they're trying to take it away from people. I'm not saying everybody's.
So you want to change the subject of the show and go to
people,
something completely
but
different?
there's a lot of people who can't.
Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Who are mentally ill, who are mentally kind of capable of doing all the stuff to make money. They rely on Medicaid, on the stuff to get them around and pay for some of that stuff.
That's the show. We're doing that show.
So does that make you feel better? You change the subject in front of the show or all that like that?
3 weeks.
I'm just saying, but your other argument was that you don't give away stuff for free. You was arguing about giving stuff for free. My argument is some free stuff is good.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I didn't say free stuff was bad. I'm saying always that's the answer is give away free stuff because it gets you more votes. We have a charity system for a reason. Meals on Wheels is a charity. It's not the government giving away free food because government food was crap. Government food was cheese that was hard as a rock that was processed. Meals on Wheels is actually a charity that does a good job. But you can keep changing the subject. That's okay.
But they're shutting down charities. I'm just saying your argument about free stuff, that's what I was
They're not shutting down charities.
They are. Yes, they are.
No, they're not. As long as people donate to the charity, they still get their tax benefit. They're still running. No one's shutting down the charity.
Are they shutting down?
No, they're trying to.
They're just not funding it with taxpayer money. That's not what charities are for. They're not supposed to be funded with taxpayer money. You're telling me the government knows how to spend my money better than I do?
You're right. What was that? Okay, let's start around a group here so everybody can get some final thoughts before we end this. Okay, Klein, you first.
Yeah. This current law, this big, great bill is shutting down the safety net that the government subsidizes that we actually need in favor of tax cuts for the rich, which is a crime, in my opinion.
All right. Okay, Jeff Nolan, can you add to that?
While we were doing the show, some news came out that the Department of Homeland Security is now distancing
that was when it was not on a holiday.
Ollie, you got to mute.
Auschwitz.
Can't hear you.
Ollie, you got to mute.
Because Ollie's got to mute himself. He'll mute himself. Okay, what was the last on that? What was that last crushing thing about the current administration? What was that?
Yes.
All I can hear is Ollie on the phone.
The latest.
I guess
I've muted Ollie so we can still hear you fine.
But I can't.
We're hearing Ollie.
Ollie's still talking on the phone.
It's distracting. The Department of Homeland Security apparently is distancing itself from this debacle in the Everglades. And I predicted this. Mark my words, this is all gonna fall financially on the citizens of Florida. Homeland Security is not gonna reimburse because we all know Donald Trump doesn't fucking reimburse. It's all gonna fall on the citizens.
Whoa. This is a use of
I think
language.
what he's trying to do is, I guess, is get other states to do this also, and every state have their own Jawshank or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Bill, what?
Payment centers.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, there's a lot of short-term reporting that is attacking, whether it be the alligator Alcatraz or Jawshank or the big beautiful bill. There's a lot of Democratic talking points that are being put out in terms of the cuts to Medicaid, blah blah blah. Tax cuts only for the rich. Let's wait and see how this pans out. The problem with socialism, and it's all socialism, whether you're talking nationalist socialism, proletarian socialism, communism, it's all socialism, and it's all come from the left. True fascism comes from the left, and it all ends up as crony capitalism, whether it's government run or oligarchs people who buy private businesses based on government favors, like Solyndra. And then finally, just one thing is that, Jeff Nolan made in his comments, he stated, we're against anything that's good for people. My attitude is we always want what is best for people. The question is whether or not what's the best method to providing the best services and the best lifestyle for the American people. And that, for me, is found in absolute freedom. And if you have a choice between a total government-run system or a total free market system, A free market system will always provide better services and a long-term fair option for everybody than absolute government control.
Do we have an example of an unfettered free market system?
Yeah, Hong Kong before the Chinese takeover. Hong Kong under
it's a city.
Hong Kong was essentially a nation state to itself under British control up until it went back to China in 1999 under the treaty. Milton Friedman used Hong Kong as the best example of a city where there was it was like a 15% total tax on in taxes, but there were no social services, very, very little government interplay. And people who were in poverty stayed in poverty only for one generation. They worked their way out. Hong Kong became a total, it was the trade capital of Asia.
And organized crime running all the sin taxes, running the sin industry.
There will always be organized crime, but the difference is that under socialism, organized crime is the organized crime people are the government.
But saying that Nazism was on the left is completely.
Well, not completely. I mean, listen. If you want to really talk about, it, if you look at the Indians and the Chinese dominate as long as they're living outside of their country. You sometimes wonder if their countries aren't run really right. You get them out of the country, and they earn more than everybody does, right? Okay, we're going to have to end this show. We're getting kind of far afield. The after show. Thank you both, Jeffs, for coming. Thank you, Bill, from appearing from Poland, and Tiberius coming on. Don, I hope you're getting better. And Ollie, you were just talking too much, but that's not unusual. Thank you so much for the after show. I know it. I got him on that one. He isn't on, so he didn't hear me. And he probably won't watch the after show, so it'll work. We'll see you next week on another edition, and we'll try to come up with another topic that's just as interesting as this one. See you next week.